Hello everybody, I'm going to be informing you on how to never lose a game in tic-tac-toe. Tic-tac-toe is a game in which two players alternately put X's and O's in compartments of a figure formed by two vertical lines crossing two horizontal lines, and each tries to get 3 X's or O's in a row before the opponent does. Some of the key things about winning tic-tac-toe, or never losing, should I say, is to think 2 steps ahead of your enemy, understand counters and traps, and realize that you might have to take a tie. It's very easy to win against people that do not know how to play tic-tac-toe. Another main point is to never use an edge piece. Edge pieces are not very efficient because they do not allow for very easy 3 in a rows. Also, the 2 types of traps that we're going to be discussing today are triangle traps and corner traps. So if you go first, you select either the corner or middle. If you go second, you select either the corner or middle. So for the first example, if you go first, you're going to play. We're going to refer to the opponent as O for the rest of the speech. So if you go first, and I decide to place an X in the corner, and your opponent decides to place an O in the middle, you will follow it up by placing an X in a diagonal line to form a diagonal line, which forces him to choose either one on the far right corner or the top left corner. By this, you'll be able to create a corner trap, which results in a win. If you select the same corner and the opponent selects the middle, and instead, this time, instead of placing in the corner, he decides to place on the edge. This is the one scenario where you use an edge. He will force you to block his 3 in a row, which will result in a tie. Now, if you place an X in the corner and he decides to place an O on the edge, it is very much so an automatic win, because you are able to place an X in the middle, which gives you control of almost the entire board. From this, you are able to create a triangle trap, which will result in the win. If you place an X in the corner and he places an O in the opposite corner, what you need to do is put an X in the middle. If they do not take the middle as the second move, you need to take it. Following up this, they're going to probably place an O over here to try to force a 3 in a row, and you're going to need to block that. After blocking it, it's going to result in a tie. But if they do the exact same thing and don't put an O in the corner and instead put an O on the edge, you will be able to create an easy triangle trap for a win. Now on the flip side, if you decide to put an X in the corner, in the middle, and they decide to do an O in the corner, you will be able to create a diagonal line. It's very important to create diagonal lines whenever you can to control multiple sides of the board. So if they put an O on the edge, which is almost always an incorrect move, you will be able to create a triangle trap that forces 2 different spots. If you put an X in the middle and they put an O on the edge, it's a win, because you will be able to force a triangle trap, because they, If you put an X in the middle and they put an O on the corner, and they follow up with another O on the corner, and you create a diagonal line, it's going to force a tie. This is what I mean by when I say playing against a smarter opponent will almost always result in a tie. Now, on the other hand, if the opponent goes first and the O is in the middle, and you decide to do a corner piece, you should follow up that with another corner piece. You should almost never follow up with an edge. This way you can force a tie. If the opponent goes in the middle and you go into X, it's going to be a loss, because they will be able to create a triangle trap no matter what, if they're smart. If they go in the middle again and you select a corner piece, and on the second move you select an edge, they will be able to create a triangle trap that will result in a loss. If they select an O on the corner and you select an X in the middle, as you should select an X on the edge. Okay, X on the edge, which will result in a tie. This is because you force them to block your 3 in a row early in the game. If you give an X in the middle and they start off with an O in the corner, and they create a diagonal line like they should, and you instead do an X on the corner instead of the edge, this will result in them being able to triangle trap on the corners. Now the main conclusion of this is really just to say 2 steps ahead of your opponent, because it's only a 3x3 board, which means there's only a very small limit of like what you can do in the game. There's only corner traps and there's only triangle traps. With this, it's very easy to always tie and or win against any opponent. It's a very interesting game because it's out of date and no one really plays it anymore since most people know how to win, but everyone remembers playing it when they were in their childhood, and it's interesting to learn about how to never lose.